Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, we're in a 100% vegan restaurant, so my son should be able to eat a McDonald's hamburger here. Entitled Mom Angry My Allergies Were Actually Real. My adult friend isn't allowed to go out. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. We're in a 100% vegan restaurant, so my son should be able to eat a McDonald's hamburger here. A little bit of backstory. My sister owns a 100% vegan restaurant in Sitges, Spain, near Barcelona, and the restaurant's name is Spice Garden for those who are wondering. She told me this story of EM and EK coming in there to eat. When they come in, they seem like normal people. A waiter hands them the menus and they start looking at them. Sometime later, the waiter comes back and asks if they're ready to order. Here's how the conversation went. Waiter, are you ready to order, ma'am? EM, we can't find anything tasty on this menu. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there a way I can help? EM, well, I was thinking I could get some burgers from McDonald's and come here to eat them, since we're here. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're not allowed to take outside food with you into restaurants, and this is a vegan restaurant, so it wouldn't be good either way. You can leave if you'd like. Excuse me? I am your client, so I can eat what I want here. How dare you tell me not to do that? Ma'am, please don't argue. As I said, this is a vegan restaurant, and you're not allowed to bring outside food. If you don't leave in the next minute, I will be forced to make you leave myself. The EM and EK leave the restaurant. I am still weirded out to this day as to how would that EM have the audacity to eat meat in a vegan restaurant. Also, she isn't really their customer if she isn't buying their goods. Why can't she just eat at McDonald's? She sounds crappy. When I was in my teens, I used to work in KFC, and we got this all the time. One kid would order a 99p burger, and then his 15 friends would come in with McDonald's and take up half the restaurant, and paying customers would have nowhere to sit. The only meat we serve here is child, and I see that you've brought your own. How would you like them prepared? You're not a client unless you order something and pay for it. And if you have outside food, then buying a drink doesn't make you a client. The EM must be one of the same kind of people that think it's okay to eat pork if you're vegan because it comes from a pig, aka complete idiots. Entitled Mom Angry My Allergies Were Actually Real. Background. My boyfriend, 21M, and I, 21F, have been together for almost 3 years now, and we moved into a small house on his mother's, who I call my ML, property. We pay rent and our own utilities, but we often go over for dinner or just hang out. I also have severe peanut and tree nut allergies, to the point that I don't risk anything that says may be in contact with nuts, just to be safe. These are hospital-level allergies. Recently, my MIL had us over for dinner, and she had some cookies that a friend had baked. She had clarified that it didn't have nuts, had touched no nuts, and had no chocolate. This woman was also a mother of someone I was still friends and trusted with from high school, so I had one big mistake. I started to have a really bad reaction, and I was rushed to urgent care by my BF and ML. I was okay, but we were all very shaken. ML reached out to her friend to ask why she'd lied about the cookies. Apparently, this woman, who's known about my allergies for literal years, had recently changed to the anti-vax, anti-allergies camp. She had lied because she was convinced that my friend, her child, was lying about my allergies, and so was I. When my ML made it clear the friendship was done, she threw a huge tantrum, told my friend to cut me off, threatened to tattle to all of their mutual friends, etc. I'm not sure how she could spin. I sent someone to urgent care, as my ML's fault. But crazy people be crazy. My ML feels incredibly guilty, but I know it's not her fault. She didn't make the cookies, and we both trusted this woman enough to take her word. My friend has made it clear that her mother is insane, and we are still going to be friends. She also feels guilty that she hadn't warned me, but once again, not her fault. Not really a happy ending here, other than I'm okay and health insurance is covering the bills. I'll possibly have an update soon, as this woman has threatened to make an exposing post on Facebook. Hope you all have a lovely, healthy day. Update. Thank you all for your incredibly kind response to this post. The awards are sweet, and I appreciate the advice. It feels very validating to have others react in such a horrified way. I had an emergency therapy session, and I'm feeling much better. I cried a bit reading these comments, as I've honestly felt a bit crazy. As for the legal aspect, we reached out to a family friend who used to practice law, and it looks like no dice on a criminal case. Attempted murder is complicated, and any direct evidence isn't really available. All conversations that confirm intent were in person or on the phone. We have security camera footage of her delivering the cookies, but nothing much else. For one, we're a two-party consent state, so we couldn't have recorded the phone call even if we'd thought of it. However, we could have some grounds to sue. Right now, it looks like we won't. We've made my work aware of this woman, as well as the school district. I've also spoken with a friend who's a police officer, and he's looking into getting some kind of no-contact order. That's all for now, and no sign yet of that exposing post. Fun fact, she can be charged with attempted murder for pulling this. Yes, OP. Please, at least scare her a little. My adult friend isn't allowed to go out. This I am more of a venting, I guess. Also, this story ain't mine, but instead is about a dear friend who I am deeply worried about. We are both 24F, just finished college together, and since our graduation our group of friends could only see her once. For some context, where I live there's this government program with which you can take out a loan to pay for private college. It ain't that bad as I've heard ABT student debt in USA. You usually finish paying in a couple years and can renegotiate your debt. So my friend, who I'll call here by the fake name Mary, got this things and is basically in debt because, now that she graduated, she lost her internship and still couldn't find a job. Now, to the entitled parents. I'm gonna start with Mary's dad. Remember the loan I told you about? Not only it was his making, without her consent BTW, but now that Mary doesn't have money of her own, this old man trashes her about it. He is always saying how much he spent on her studies and how other people would be oh so grateful for it, among other things. Mary's mom ain't no better. She goes shopping for things she cannot afford, get into debt, and makes Mary pays for it. You can imagine how insufferable it is to live under that roof. Mary is constantly between their verbal fights, and whenever she used to go out they would welcome her with some victimistic attitude and say things like, "You prefer your friends over your family. You don't even stop at home anymore," and crap like that. So, Mary doesn't go out anymore to avoid conflict. When she really wants to, she asks for permission, and the answer is always no, which she feels obligated to respect since she got no money. I swear me and my other friends spent 6 years building up this woman's independence and self-esteem. To see her parents tearing it down in less than 3 months makes me want to explode in rage. Could you and her other friends maybe allow her to couch surf with you and them? If so, have her get her clothes and other things she can't live without and go pick her up and move what she needs out of there as soon as possible. Then have her go no contact with her parents for at least a while. When she gets a job in her own place, then she needs to really take time and decide on if having them in her life is worth it. I asked if she wanted to move out with me now that I am searching for an apartment of my own, but she refused more than once. You're dealing with someone who is being emotionally and mentally abused. It can take a lot of determination and courage to walk away from that. Let her know you're there for her, and if she needs you, you have a spare couch. You can't make her be ready to leave. She has to make that choice on her own. This sounds like Stockholm Syndrome, where she is being abused, and part of that abuse is convincing her that it's all her fault. I think it's a form of PTSD, which you could expect might be the case given how she grew up. I doubt there's anything her friends can do for her other than to let her know they are ready to help her if she asks for it. She has to want this for herself. You can't want more for a person than they want for themselves. You can hope for a better life for someone, but you have to meet them where they are, not where you think they should be. We really do teach people how we're willing to be treated by how we allow them to treat us, and I completely understand that saying no to parents like that is extraordinarily difficult if not impossible for her at this point. I do hope she eventually realizes that she was making the choice to pay for her mother's things rather than put her foot down and say no, and I don't know what the consequences would be for her to stop doing that. But I assume in her mind those consequences would be far worse, so she's making a valid choice. For me, it was empowering to recognize where I had been going along with people abusing me instead of saying no. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.